Hello folks, welcome to my YouTube channel Watercolor Impressions. This week we are going to learn how to do a gouache painting of an early winter morning. The reference as a peaceful atmosphere and a strong foreground element of a streetcar with bright reflections. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And let's get started, guys. So I started with underpainting. Every painting people do in canvas, they usually do underpainting. And I'm using watercolors for my underpainting because I'm really comfortable with watercolors, and it is unconventional, but I didn't mind. I went with it because I love watercolors. So the watercolor wash, what I did on my canvas is the light wash. I'm just seeing colors on my reference. I'm throwing as it is, and I'm not like being accurate to my colors in my reference. I'm just like making it a little bit closer to it. This is just to see where my light and reflections goes. One thing about working on a canvas is the watercolors runs really fast. If I put a wash at the top and it goes all the way down, as you could see, whereas in a watercolor paper, it just stucks there, and you can able to take that wash and blend it in with other colors, whereas in canvas it's a little bit harder, and that's my thought. And you can see I almost finished my first wash. You can see I put a little bit of warmer colors in the foreground. I put a lot of cool colors on other areas. I'm going to start with the sky. For the sky, I'm using a paler blue, and with a little bit of French ultramarine blue in it. I'm not talking about colors that much because in recent years of painting, I realized that people pick colors as it impressed them, and the colors sense differs from each and every artist, and there is no one way of mixing colors. There is one way of doing everything. Even though I watched a lot of video tutorials before of an artist painting, the color they pick, if I put it, it doesn't feel I'm expressing my color sense. So as an artist, you have to come up with your own color style, and it comes by experience as you paint more and more. And even one of my favorite artists doesn't talk about colors, and he always says the exact same thing. And if you're an artist and if you want to develop or good with colors, you just have to mix your own colors and come up with your own color sense. But there's one rule of thumb is to if you mix cool colors, if you put a warmer color next to it, it looks really well because it creates that contrast. And if you create a blue road, and if you have warmer shadows or warmer reflection, it looks visually pleasing to a viewer's eyes. At the end of the day, we are trying to paint for viewers to capture their attention, and we are telling a story through our canvas as well as our painting with brush strokes and with colors in it. And you could see I finished the background using a lighter blue with a lighter pale blue, and at the background building I'm using a lot of burnt amber in it. The one thing I realized painting in gouache is watercolors is really dull medium. What I mean by that is if you paint a value of 10 in watercolors, unless if you don't use any water, the value stays as close as it can. But if you mix any waters, if you mix water and you paint a value of 10, the value may go to 7 or 8 and once it dries out. Whereas in gouache, you could pick your value when you paint. So that's why a lot of people, when they paint in gouache, they start with a darker wash and they slowly build up the wash to the lighter value. And I'm painting as I see it in my reference. And it's not any one way to paint, and it is advisable to start from dark to lighter in gouache. I personally felt it once I started painting it, because since I work with watercolors a lot, I'm thinking everything as a lighter tone. So even though the building, the midtown building or the background building, I made it lighter, so I have to layer it several times to get the right value. That's the other good thing about gouache is you can layer it and you can make mistakes and you can also fix it as you go. And there is no one way to end the painting. You can paint as much as you want and bring all the details, each and every details in your painting as well. But I try to paint really loose, and I want to create a story with a painterly style, and that's why when I put a stroke, I try to make every stroke as vertical as possible, and that also creates expression of artistic style in your painting as well. And you can see I'm working on the foreground building, and I created the shape, and now I'm jumping onto the streetcar. If you squint your eyes and see the reference looked darker, but the first time when I painted it, I painted a little bit lighter. So I went and layered it out in such a way to get that bright reflections. If you have to make your scene brighter with the reflections are light, your shape have to be darker. If your shape is lighter and if you put a brighter reflection, it's not going to work because the value sits on the same scale. Whereas if you have a darker value and if you have a lighter value, then it will create that contrast in the foreground. And I'm also trying to paint as I paint in watercolors too, because once I finish an area, I try to mix the shape with the other areas as well. And you can see I'm quickly blocking the streetcar in the foreground. Our streetcar, the focal point in our scene for this gouache painting is the streetcar and the car which is sitting next to it. And the reason I painted this canvas, this is a 12 by 12 inch, and because I have an exhibition coming, and it's a 12 by 12 exhibition, and it is a little bit harder to find 12 by 12 frames, and it also really hard to transfer watercolor frames with glass in it. So I thought I would do a gouache painting on a canvas, and it is really transportable, and it's really easy to carry, and it's really easy to install it too. So I also did a 10 by 10 exhibition a month ago, and I did in watercolors. I did find a 10 by 10 inch frame, but it was a little bit harder to paint in watercolors and frame it and transport it. Even though it was a 10 by 10, I did watercolors. I did sell both of my painting, what it got selected for. So I thought I would do a gouache painting on a canvas to get some experiences as well and explore the medium of gouache. I did paint in gouache before on a paper, but it is a little bit different painting in canvas. It also gives that artisty vibe. I don't know how to explain it. I think you have to try it to and let me know in my comment section how do you feel it when you paint on a canvas. And now I'm blocking in the car. You can see as soon as we have a darker shape there on the, in order to get brighter reflections, the shape have to be darker. If your value is a little bit lighter, the brightness of the reflection will go down. And make sure when you paint darker scenes with brighter reflections, and that's one key to keep in mind. And now I'm adding tertiary details using white paint, and you can also mix white paint with a lot of warmer colors to get that exact reflections on the foreground. Now it's your turn. Pick my reference or grab your own reference and use gouache paint and let me know, and let's see what you can come up with. Thanks again for watching this how to paint gouache video tutorial with me. Let me know what you guys think of this painting in the comment section and leave a thumbs up button. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And please do share with your fellow artists and friends and family. And good luck with your painting, folks.